Thank you to the sisters and brothers of UAW for all you are and all we will do over these next 89 days. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. We won't get
Vice President Kamala Harris addressing the UAW in Wayne, Michigan today. It's where we begin our coverage with some of our favorite experts and friends. New York Times editorial board member, MSNBC political analyst Mark Gay is here. Former campaign manager for Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign, Jim Messina is here. Also joining us, former Republican Congressman, MSNBC political analyst David Jolly is here, and former White House communications director and host of the Open Book podcast, Anthony Scaramucci is back. Anthony, I'm going to start with you because you have some of the most intriguing tweets about the unraveling Vice President Kamala Harris's opponent, Donald Trump. Just tell me what's going on. I should tell our viewers who weren't watching earlier. He delivered, I don't know, I left after about 40 minutes. I think it might still be going on, a rambling press conference. There was a bit of important news. He did announce 3 debates that he was open to. The ABC debate, which the vice president has committed to. A debate on Fox, which Donald Trump has been talking about, and he mentioned a debate on NBC News, which hasn't been publicly discussed before. But other than that, I believe he suggested his crowds were bigger than Martin Luther King's crowds. He lied for the vast majority of it, and he seems deeply unnerved by the enthusiasm, the vigor, the organization, and yes, the size of the crowds that Vice President Kamala Harris is garnering. Anthony, can we hear you? Anthony, you're muted. I need you to start over and give us all that.
All right, Nicolle,
one more time.
I'm sorry. I had it on mute.
Start at the top.
I didn't want to hear the lawnmower. No, what I was saying is that if he starts saying his crowds are bigger than Taylor Swift, then you know we're in, real psychotic territory. But listen, I before I got on, because I knew Jim was going to be on with me, Jim Messina, he saw the same thing I said. Just let him unravel. I mean, he was digging and digging and digging. And I'll just point out 3 quick things because I know him very well. He's very upset. He spent the last couple of days socializing ideas about campaign changes and strategy, which is why he's not moving around the country. He then went to his staff and said, let me show you how it's done. I'm the big alpha male narcissistic dog. Let me get out there and do some crazy Fidel Castro stuff for a couple of hours. And then when he does this with his hands, he's lying. Okay, this is the big tell. And he said, I'm way up in the polls. And he went like this, and he mentioned Rasputin and stuff like that. Or Rasmussen, not Rasputin. But you get the point I'm making. And this is all him telling you that he's now frightened, he's now cornered, and he's very angry. And so I saw what Jim Messina put out on social media, which I agree with. Let him keep digging. The Harris campaign, stay disciplined. You stay on your message. Let him implode.
Anthony, let me just follow up with you. I mean, why isn't he campaigning in battleground states? He's hunkered down at Mar-a-Lago doing all the things you just described. But when he hits the road, he's going to Montana. Why?
Well, I'll take him at his word that he says he's going up there for some kind of fundraiser, and he's going up there to help a senator up there. But I think the real reason why he's not out there is he hasn't found his message yet. He's tried to use the 2016 sexist playbook. He tried to build into that some racism, as he did at the NABJ thing. It's not working. And so rather than go out there and keep flubbing, he's searching for the right narrative, searching for the right messaging. He's going to have a lot of trouble, though. And I'll just point this out quickly. 20.2 million baby boomers have died since the 2016 election, and 40 million Generation Xers have been added to the voting scroll. So this is a totally different electorate. They're not going to tolerate the sexism and the racism that he spews. And I just want to say this, he called the vice president dumb at least 4 times today. And that is a sign of his racism. She's an incredibly qualified person. If you look at her credentials, you look at who she is as a human being, it is absolutely absurd that he's calling her that. And people need to call him on that and hand check him on stuff like that.
I want to ask you one more question. What the Times and Post is reporting is certainly what you're describing. They describe sources close to Donald Trump describing him as, quote, unsettled, distracted, struggling to focus in the face of Kamala Harris's rise. It turns out that Tim Alberto's reporting on the entire architecture of the Trump campaign being about the ageism and the slurs and the smears that they plan to lob against Joe Biden, that there wasn't a plan B. So much has been made of the genius of Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles. It's been 3 weeks. Like, where's the backup plan?
So, remember, he disavowed Project 2025, and so that's one of his moves. He put all of his teammates in there. He's flying around privately with a leader of the Heritage Foundation. It doesn't poll well. So then he says what he always says, I don't even know these people, never met these people. And he's got that whole group of maggots, the MAGATSs, upset. And so there's a civil war going on inside the campaign. Those people are after Susie and Chris. Susie and Chris are looking, saying, well, we could have an expiration date on our jobs now. This is how Trump thinks. It's a lot like George Steinbrenner, where you fire first, think last sort of thing. And so things are in disarray. He is calling around to his old campaign teams, people from 16 and 20. He's socializing ideas with them, and that's why he's on time delay. But just one more quick thing, because there's another tell from Trump. I'm not going to debate her unless it's Fox News. He's getting crushed in the polls, and so now I'm up for 3 debates. Okay, so he says two opposite things at the same time all the time. It worked in 16. It sort of worked during his presidency. It's not working now. People are tired of the repetitive act of it, and that's why he's flailing around right now, Nicolle. I could tell you a lot because I travel with the guy, know the guy intimately. I can tell you exactly what's going on there.
Well, I mean, I do like understanding, that this is the lie. Tell me if you see any signs that he's listening to anybody other than his own big brain, which was his answer, I think, when John Heilman asked him where he gets his foreign policy expertise.
Well, he's smarter than his generals. He's smarter than everybody. No, he does listen. He derides Jared, but he does listen to Jared. He does listen to Ivanka. He does listen to Susie Wiles. He may be upset right now because of the way things have turned. So I don't know if he's listening to her currently, but the big brain is the one that motivated him to make this press conference. This sort of, if Fidel Castro got married to Benito Mussolini, it would be Donald Trump and this press conference that he displayed himself with today. And so that's the big brain of Trump, telling his people, look at me, I'm going to show you how this is done. And by the way, he walks, I don't know if he's still talking or not, but when he leaves that stage, people are going to say to him, oh, sir, you did such a great job. And he's going to think he did a great job today. But that stuff is a tired act in 2024. It's not going to work the way it did in 2016.
Jim Messina, you've been invoked. The idea that Harris is so unbothered by Trump that she doesn't even mention the one bit of news you made, the debates, is to me the greatest insult of all, that the act is old and tired, not driving the conversation anymore, definitely not the campaign or the candidate with the momentum. The vice president does describe herself, she did in Philadelphia Tuesday night, as the underdog. Tell me what it means to you to do what Anthony just said, to run her own race.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely crucial, as Anthony said. The most important thing when you have momentum is to just continue doing what you're doing. She's staying high, to quote Michelle Obama, while he goes low. And right now, that's exactly the right thing to do. Don't take the bait, because part of Trump's genius is he takes us off message all the time by saying all these crazy things. And we as Democrats chase all of them because they are whack job things to say. And meanwhile, we get off message. And she and her campaign are being incredibly disciplined to say it's not about him, it's about me making my case to the American voters while he unravels. And I think there's another reason. There's two kind of campaign things, Nicolle, that I've seen that really make me surprised. The first of all, at his lectern, there wasn't the Make America Great sign. He had the Mar-a-Lago Club sign, which is super weird message to send. It also shows you the advance team's not with him. He just got up there and did this because no one would have thought that's a great idea. And the second thing is, Anthony's right, he's not out there for another reason, though, which is his last event in Atlanta, he had 6,000 people. She had 15,000 people at the exact same arena. And so he's right now screaming at his campaign team, why are her events bigger than mine? And, you know, it's not 2016 anymore. He's been to these swing states 100 times, and his act is starting to fall flat. And people don't want to go see it anymore.
Jim, on her side, I haven't had a chance to speak to you since she became the nominee. We have both spent a career in sort of campaigns and politics. This is political phenomenon. And again, things don't, we may not always have this conversation. This may not always be the question. But right now, she is executing a flawless campaign, flawless rollout. She seems to know where her strengths are, where the lines are, the organic chance we're not going back, say it to my face. I mean, this is a really impressive campaign so far. What, to your point, do you do to sustain this and turn this momentum and excitement and these crowd sizes into voter turnout?
Well, first of all, you and I are probably jinxing her by saying how great these first 15 days are.
It's just cable.
Right. I agree. Like I've not seen anyone have as good a 15 days as she's having right now. And part of it is, I think we all learn more from a loss than you ever do a win. And she's had 4 years to learn the lessons of her presidential campaign. And I think she seems free. She seems unburdened. She knows who she is. And that excitement, that enthusiasm continue. I think the next thing she's got to do is kind of expand on it. And if you think about in a presidential campaign, you get two free moments. The first is when you pick the VP. She had that. And now coming up in about 2 weeks is her Democratic National Convention speech. And she needs there to look at the American public and tell them what she's going to do with her 4 years. And if she can, you know, add that on and talk a little bit of economic growth and those kind of things, I think she's building a campaign that is built to win in November.
I do too. I mean, Jim, just structurally, the messaging that is most effective is the messaging that is obviously, one, true, and two, organic and readily received. I mean, her organic messaging is this: we're not going back to the 50s. I mean, people know what she's talking about. Trump's organic, branded over 9 years now messaging is make America great again. I mean, they are, you know, and I understand there are momentum shifting debates, but it doesn't seem like there are structural opportunities to reshape the race. And to Anthony's reporting and understanding of all the Trump tells, he seems to be, I don't know if coming to grips is the right word, but cosmically aware of the fact that a structural reshuffling of the race is probably off the table, and now it'll be a political dogfight for momentum and votes. Is that where you see the race?
Yeah, really, I do, Nicolle, because the Harris campaign is in the perfect frame. You always want to be the future candidate. Americans are at heart optimists. We want to know where you're going to take us.